Hey folks, I messed up. While GMing my index card RPG campaign, I allowed a combat session to extend way beyond what I'd planned for and what I could manage. It grew arms, it grew legs, and then it grew tentacles as the scope and complexity of the battle expanded until my lovely players, who I try and keep safe, were paid a visit by the Decision Paralysis Demon. Once your group know the game system and the characters, the too many choices and the indecision that follows is the big time sink in TTRPG combat, especially at high level, slowing what should be the fastest, most exciting part of the game to a snail's pace. So why does the Decision Paralysis Demon appear? What are the early warning signs? And what can we do to fight it off? Picture the simplest possible combat situation. The terrain is an infinite flat grid. The character is level 1. A wizard can already choose between 7 different spells. Anyone with the usual 30 feet of movement chooses between 161 possible places to be by the end of their turn. These two factors alone give you a ton of choices to make, and we haven't even added any enemies. Now, picture a battle on a bridge in the pouring rain, where friends and allies are frantically fighting a vicious enemy in order to stay alive and avoid being thrown off the parapets and down into the churning waters beneath. Making any choice in this scenario is going to be a challenge, never mind the optimal one. In my index card RPG game, I had a battle map that I thought was pretty simple. A bridge crossing a rushing river where a band of road orcs was attacking a caravan of troubadours. As we started the combat, everything was fine, and the situation was clear. I decided it would be a fun move for the orcs to try and throw the guards off the bridge. The players, being good-hearted souls and playing good-hearted characters, they leapt into action, trying to catch the guards before they were swept away downstream. Suddenly, this meant that the height of the bridge mattered, the speed of the river mattered, the slipperiness of the rocks mattered. The players then hatched a convoluted plan to rescue the guards, involving spider climbing round the side of the bridge piers, whose height mattered, and short-range teleporting, where the wizard's exact line of sight mattered. And we got so bogged down. By the end of the encounter, I'd drawn a cross-section, an elevation, there was an isometric sketch, and the map was covered in doodles. What I thought would be quick and dramatic had slowed down to a crawl. I could have had the orcs just whack the guards, but that's not really a fun way to play. In the end, the players triumphed, and the two guards shared a kiss as they were reunited. But what I didn't know at the time was that one of my players, known as Salty Nick in these parts, had decided to time all of the turns in combat, including turns for me behind the GM screen. It led to some fascinating and worrying discoveries. We thought, in our hubris, that we knew the system and we were decisive in our moves, and overall a pretty slick group. But wow, we, especially me, were not. So what were the root causes that meant that combat became so slow? Why weren't we able to adapt quickly to the changed environment? To avoid complex combats devolving into a great big slow mess, here are some things to watch out for which will keep the Decision Paralysis Demon at bay. If you find yourself bogged down in player questions about the environment or their character's abilities, get your players to tell you their desired outcome from their action as part of their initial question to you. You'll know they're up to something, which will lead into a black hole when you hear questions like this.
You're wise master of dungeons. It's a fine rope over there, but how many strands would you say it contains?
Hello, Game Master. Would it be fair to say that technically chalk was once alive?
Master of Games, what volume of blood would you say is contained within a mouse?
The only way for a GM to win this game is not to play. Don't answer the question, say loudly, say clearly, and in a way that everyone at the table will get the hint. So what are you trying to achieve here? It's worth reminding your players that just because you're controlling the enemies, you're still on their side, and you want them to do cool stuff and hopefully win the day. If they think even for a second that you are their enemy, they might not tell you, so you can't thwart their convoluted schemes until you've already said yes to each stage of them. I like battle maps a lot, especially when we're playing online. They give me and my groups a shared understanding of the space, and it doesn't matter if they don't hear every word of my descriptions, as they always have the map to fall back on. However, seeing a map creates a whole load of assumptions in your players' heads, and there is no guarantee that those assumptions will match yours. Players will look at a map and quite rightly look for anything at all they could use to their advantage. Switching from a battle map to a theatre of the mind mid-combat is a bold move, and could be an even stronger decision than using theatre of the mind from the start. Your players will already know the fundamentals of the encounter, the position of everything, and they'll be picturing the battle map even as you hide it. It also allows you to get super crazy with character movement. Flying, swimming against a current, swinging on ropes all become easy to describe without needing to use compasses, set squares, and an Excel spreadsheet to figure out where everyone should be. In our scenario, on, next to, and under the bridge, saving the guards could have been abstracted into a theatre of the mind skill challenge, where the party would have to spend their turns making a series of rolls. If any of their abilities or equipment could have helped, it would have been an easy roll, known as advantage in other systems. This saves on the need for any exact measurements, and while it might not satisfy fans of simulation, it speeds things up massively. When you're in complex combat land, you'll often find yourself in a situation where the rules of your system of choice just don't cover the scenario at your table. In our case, it happened as soon as the first guard was thrown off the bridge, and I had to spend a lot of time coming up with rulings. Whatever your TTRPG of choice, quick rulings are so much better than meticulously researched ones. The quickest way of doing this is to ask around your players and say, is this reasonable? Yes? No? Not sure? If it's a yes from the players, we crack on. If it's a no, they do something else. If you're in that not sure territory, it's okay to be arbitrary with your rulings. Flip a coin. Quick decisions will be your friend here. And you can always look it up later online, find the precise thread where people have argued every which way on this. I'm sure you'll find some strong opinions on the matter, but these are not relevant to your table. There is a lot to be said for understanding your system of choice and for tactical knowledge. If you're playing D&D, one of the best resources for players is Live to Tell the Tale by Keith Ammon. Also, Monsters Know What They're Doing is wonderful fuel for GMs. Both books look at the tactics and strategies that can be used to get the most out of your characters, including pre-planning moves and giving advice on when to change tactics, when you should choose to keep fighting or just cut your losses and run away. I've seen this pre-planning used to make flowcharts for high-level characters, and on the GM side for orchestrating all the moving parts in complex battles. There's no sponsorship or anything here, I just really like both these books. When all else fails and your players are feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or are so deep into an insane plan that there's no chance of getting back on track this century, break the game. Cheat. Give them a win. Explicitly guide your players with a suggested path that will move things along. You get the impression that a good course of action would be to attack the chief orc. The underlings are looking to her for guidance. You'll just need to hope your rope is long enough. You can cast that spell to reach the guard, if you act now before they're swept away any further downstream. An important note on this is that both of these examples should have been seeded earlier in the encounter. Bringing up new information you hadn't shared before, which makes the answer clear, will be deeply frustrating to your players. This isn't the same as railroading, it's more shining a light into the fog of overcomplication. Guiding players is something that works in combat, planning, as well as puzzles and social encounters. Anywhere where the momentum is beginning to falter, and you can feel something getting closer. The Decision Paralysis Demon is real, and it's behind me. And it's derailed so many sessions over the years, but hopefully now you're equipped to fight it, to stab it in its many metaphorical eyes. This video is part of a set of 3 on how to speed up different aspects of your game. This one is all about making roleplay flow faster, while this one, which might not have appeared yet as I'll be uploading it next week, is all about helping players plan more efficiently. I'll see you in one of those, but which one? You'd better decide quickly before this video ends, or the Decision Paralysis Demon will get you.